How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys had a great week. So it is that time of the month again, guys. It is time to talk about the top 5 games coming out this month. So here are the top 5 games coming out in November. So starting us off this month, this is probably one of the most anticipated games of November, if not the year. And of course, that is Death Stranding, which is set for release on the 8th of November. In November, it's going to be published by Sony, and it is an exclusive on the PlayStation 4. But it has been recently announced that it is actually a timed exclusive, and at some point in summer 2020, Death Stranding is actually going to be available on PC. We don't know whether or not that's going to be on Epic Games or whether it's going to be on Steam, but for those of you that are PC players, I'm sure that will make you very, very happy. So of course, Death Stranding is the brainchild of Hideo Kojima and is developed by Kojima Productions. It is the first game by Hideo Kojima, directed and produced since really Metal Gear Solid 5. So there's a huge amount of interest in this game. There was so much speculation, there was so much mystery surrounding this game since it's been released and revealed. There's been a lot of reviews going around the internet recently in the last couple of days. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of online sort of video game journalists got 3-week early access to the game, which is really cool and really generous, but a lot of the reviews have been kind of mixed, so I'm really looking forward to checking out this game. This feels like it's going to be the Marmite of video games. You either love or you hate it, so I'm looking forward to it. So what do we actually know about it? Well, you play as a main character called Sam Porter Bridges, of course portrayed by Norman Reedus, who many of you will know from The Walking Dead. The basic premise of it is set in an alternative near future version of America, which has been utterly devastated by a disaster called Death Stranding, which was the result of huge explosions across the country and these kind of spectral forms called BTs that ultimately destroyed civilization, and America is split and divided. People have isolated themselves into different cities and really don't dare, travel out into the wilderness, because this wilderness is very harsh, and a lot of these BTs, particularly when it rains, these BTs appear, and if you get dragged down by them, they will drag you into an upside down kind of world, which is full of sort of bosses and monsters, and it just looks really, really cool. So your basic aim of the game, you are a porter, you are a delivery man effectively, but as part of those deliveries, what you are trying to do is to reconnect the isolated cities of America and to reconnect a fragmented society. The really cool thing as you connect each of these cities, though, is they form part of the Strand, which is kind of a futuristic version of the internet. Now, it is a single player game, but there is a multiplayer element to it. So as you connect these cities, this opens up things in the map and it allows you to connect with other players that are playing the same area or have played the same area as you, and you can actually leave items and leave buildings and different forms in that map, in that world, that can be seen and used by other characters. And it's about sort of working together to kind of help each other navigate this fragmented world and this incredibly sort of dangerous environment. There are also dangerous NPC characters that you will have to face. I forget the name of them, but they basically are kind of hoarders, and they steal resources, and you have to be careful because they will try and steal your cargo. It just looks like nothing else I've seen. Death Stranding looks like nothing else I've seen, and it looks really, really interesting, and it's a game I am absolutely playing this month. I've pre-ordered it. I don't pre-order many games, but this seems like a game that I absolutely want to check out, and I'm just really interested to see what Hideo Kojima has to offer when he's not tied down by Konami, so I'm really interested. The second game coming out this month is Val Ferris. This has a number of different release dates. It actually already came out on the PC and Nintendo Switch in October, but it is actually available this month on the 5th of November on the PlayStation 4, and then I think from the 15th of November it will be available on the Xbox One. So this is an indie title developed by Steel Mantis and published by Big Sugar, and it is a heavy metal infused 2D side-scrolling action platformer. It's got a really cool art style, sort of pixelated art style, and it just looks really fun, and the music is just adrenaline inducing fun. That's what it is. So the general premise of it, well, after mysteriously vanishing from galactic charts, the fortress of Val Ferris, which is what the game is named after, has suddenly reappeared in the orbit of a dying sun. Players control the main character called Therion, and Therion is a fearless son of Val Ferris. He actually returns to his home to uncover the truth of its doomed fate and to challenge the ancient evil and monsters and things that sort of lurk at its heart. It looks incredible. The weaponry, the gunplay looks savage, it looks brutal, and it looks really cool. I don't know if it's Metroidvania, if you're going to sort of be able to come back to areas as you unlock certain weapons and certain abilities, but it looks cool. And if you're really into your sort of action side scrollers and you like your heavy metal, I think this game would be definitely up your street. So the third game coming out in November is Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is set for release on the 15th of November. Of course, it's developed by Game Freak and it's going to be available exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. Dante is very excited about this game. Dante is a huge Pokemon player and fan. He's played pretty much all of the Pokemon games since he was young, and I actually have to say that Pokemon Sword and Shield looks really cool. I think it's the second game to be released on the Nintendo Switch and on a home console, but what I really love about Pokemon Sword and Shield is the visual style of it and the setting. So it actually takes place in the Galar region, which is heavily inspired by Great Britain, and of course that's where I'm from, so it's going to be really cool for me to see all those little references and little head nods and little Easter eggs, and I'm looking forward to spotting all those as I play through the game. So just like in Pokemon Sun and Moon, actually Pokemon previously introduced in other games will actually gain regional Galarian forms. So we have seen a really cool form of a Weezing, which looked awesome. It's got like a little top hat and like a smoke mustache, and it just looked really cute and really cool. Of course, like all of the Pokemon games, you can play as a boy or a girl, male or female character, which you can fully customize. The clothing options look really cute as well. I think I'm going to play as the girl just because I get to wear like a tartan hat, and I'm going to make her Scottish, I think, and I think that'll be really cool. But yeah, your general obviously aim of the game is to be the best Pokemon trainer in the Galar region. Of course, like previous Pokemon games, you will have a rival who goes by the name of Hop, and there will be 3 starter Pokemon that you can choose from at the beginning of the game. We have Grookey, which is a grass type, Scorbunny, a fire type, and Sobble, which is a water type. I have always gone for fire types, so I will be choosing Scorbunny as my starter Pokemon, and I have actually pre-ordered the sword version of the game, and I think Dante's pre-ordered the shield version, because depending on which version you choose, you have a different form of the legendary in the game, and also different Pokemon, and even different gym trainers we're told as well, so that will be really cool. Of course, there are some new features in the game. So there will, of course, be gym leaders that you can fight. The aim of the game is to defeat these gym leaders and then fight in the championships. Some of the new features introduced include Dynamax and Gigantamax forms of Pokemon, and there will also be, excuse me, that's my phone. There will also be raid encounters as well, which should be really cool, and I'm just really looking forward to it. So Pokemon Sword and Shield looks fun, looks really great, and I will be picking it up and playing it with my friends most definitely. The fourth game coming out this month is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is set for release on the 15th of November, and it will be available on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Of course, this is developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by EA. You know me, not a big fan of EA, but I've got to say I want to support this game because everything I've heard about this game just ticks all the boxes for me, and this is the kind of game that I want EA to bring out. I want them to see that single player action adventure games are still in demand and that people will still play them, will still buy them, and you know, they will get a lot of support. So yeah, it's a single player action adventure game with no microtransactions, no loot boxes, in an EA title. I'm super curious about this game. I hope to God it's going to live up to that. But what's really cool is I'm a massive fan of the Star Wars franchise. I was so disappointed with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I was so disappointed with how EA botched that, and I want a really good Star Wars story, a really good Star Wars game, you know, like, you know, down the vein of Star Wars Jedi Knight, you know, and that kind of thing. I want that sort of game, or Knights of the Old Republic. So it is set in the Star Wars universe, and what's really exciting is the story is canon. It is actually canon, and it is set shortly after Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So it's going to be filling in that gap between Episode 3 and Episode 4. Players take on the role of Padawan Cal Kestis, who is portrayed by Cameron Monaghan. He actually played Jeremiah Velasca in Gotham, and he was fantastic in that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with the character. But basically, Cal Kestis is one of the last surviving Jedi, and he's on the run from the Galactic Empire, obviously having survived Order 66, which killed most of the Jedi, and most of the Jedi in the game are in hiding or are fleeing. His cover is blown after he saves a friend from a terrible workplace accident, and the Empire actually dispatches Second Sister, an Inquisitor trained by Darth Vader himself, to hunt Cal down and any remaining Jedi Knights as well. So it's not a linear game as we were first led to believe. It is actually more of a Metroidvania game. It will have a single player story narrative, but you can actually choose to travel to different planets in completely different random order, and you can come back to areas as well once you unlock certain force powers and certain abilities. What looks really cool for me is the combat looks amazing, as do the force powers. Of course, you have push, you have pull, you can also slow time down, which is really cool. The combat is actually being likened to Dark Souls, so it's going to have a little bit of a challenge. It's not going to be as difficult as, say, Dark Souls is, and as brutal as Dark Souls, but it's the same kind of premise of it's more defensive in nature, and it's about choosing the moments when it's safe to attack, when to defend, and to dodge and to parry. And I think that works perfectly with lightsaber combat, and also using your force abilities as well. We've seen some really cool combat and some really cool gameplay. There is also traversal in the game, and that's been likened to Uncharted and also Prince of Persia. There's wall running. As obviously you're a Jedi, so you're going to be able to sort of dash along and jump quite high distances, and it looks like some really cool set pieces as well. And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order just looks like the Star Wars game I've been waiting years for. So I'm really looking forward to playing it, and I'm hoping it's going to live up to hype. I'm hoping it's going to meet my expectations, and I'm hoping to do a review on it, and hopefully I'll let you guys know if it's worth picking up. So the final and fifth game coming out in November is Shenmue III, which is set for release on the 19th of November. Of course, this will be available on PC and PlayStation 4, and it's developed by Nilo and YSNet. It is an action-adventure game that actually continues on teenage martial artist Ryo Hazuki's quest to find his father's killer, and it's set in 1980s China. So Shenmue 3 is actually the result of a Kickstarter campaign and crowdfunding. Back in 2015 at E3, Yu Suzuki, who's the director of the game, basically launched a Kickstarter campaign to crowdfund Shenmue 3, and it actually became the fastest campaign to raise the target of 2 million initially, which was done in 7 hours, and then it actually ended about a month later having raised over $6 million. Suzuki actually plans to continue on the series after Shenmue 3. He did ultimately plan to have 4 games in the series, so Shenmue 3 will not conclude Ryo's storyline. There are a couple of things that he has mentioned that we have seen that look kind of cool, some new things. So apparently there's going to be a rapport system that changes interactions with characters depending on player choice. So that's kind of cool. And there was mention of sort of working on a skill tree system which allows greater customization of Ryo's sort of fighting abilities. As well, there's some mini games we got to see recently at a festival where he was playing sort of festival games and things like that. So it looks, it looks good. It looks very faithful to the original Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. Now, if you haven't played Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, they are on sale at the moment on the PlayStation Store. I think you can pick up both games for about £10, which is pretty decent. I actually haven't played the first or second game, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up Shenmue 3 at the start. I'm going to wait to see what people say of it. For me, the animations and the gameplay look a little clunky, but maybe they want to keep that so that it's more in line with the older games and it feels more like a continuation. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like a current generation game. This feels like a last generation version of the game, but we'll have to wait and see what people say about the game in reviews. So there you have it. There are the top 5 games coming out in November 2019. Let me know in the comment section below, which games are you looking forward to? Which games are you going to be picking up? I think this month I'm definitely going to be playing Death Stranding. I'm definitely going to be playing Jedi Fallen Order and also Pokemon Sword and Shield. There really isn't much coming out in December that I'm personally interested in, so these games I'll be playing over the next sort of 2 months, and will hopefully bring out reviews to you guys, so please look forward to those. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye guys.